Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Iggy's Bodybuilding Camp. If you recall in my last video, I showed you some beautiful blue skies and I said that summer had arrived, and oh how wrong I was. Yep, just a week later and the sky is as grey and dismal as it can be. Although it's not cold, it's humid and just unpleasant and muggy. But that is what you expect in the UK. The summer comes by, the sunshine comes along, it teases you, it gives you hope, and then it snatches it away. Such is life for us Brits. Anyway guys, I'm going to stick to the same theme as the last few weeks, which is bodybuilding myths. I'm really enjoying doing this series, and today I'm going to tackle a myth that was requested by a friend of mine, and that is that carbohydrates make you fat, especially when you eat them at night. And let me begin by telling you guys, carbohydrates do not make you fat. It is the amount of calories and carbohydrates that you are eating that makes you fat. It doesn't matter whether you're getting 80% of your calories from carbohydrates or 20% from your calories from carbohydrates. Ultimately, you're eating the amount of calories your body needs to keep you where you are, keep your weight where it is, so you will stay there. Obviously, if you then consume a crazy amount of calories and carbohydrates, and yes, it is easy to eat a lot of carbohydrates, especially the sugary kind. You've got your fruit juices, you've got your sweets and chocolates. You can easily sit down and have a giant bag of popcorn or a big bag of chips. So, it is easy to consume an excess amount of carbohydrates. But the key is that if you control your calorie intake, carbs do not make you fat. And this applies equally to whether eating carbs at night make you fat. It simply doesn't. If you are eating the amount of calories you're meant to, and you're eating the amount of carbohydrates you're meant to in a day, whether you eat your carbs first thing in the morning, last thing at night, it actually makes no difference. Your body needs a certain amount of calories and energy, and it will use the carbohydrates you give it for that purpose. If you give it an excess amount, it will overspill and store as fat. It's as simple as that. Let's illustrate. If you were to do a training session at 3 p.m. and then eat your carbohydrates, or 10 p.m. and then eat your carbohydrates, your body is still going to use the glucose that you give it for energy. It's going to store the rest of it in your muscles as glycogen, and then if there is an excess amount, it will convert that glycogen into fat. But if you don't give it the excess amount, it simply won't. I cannot stress enough the importance of carbohydrates, especially when you're dieting. I did a diet which was extremely low in carbohydrates. I was probably getting in 10% of my calories from carbohydrates, and the effect was, yes, I lost body weight and fat, but that's because I was in a calorie deficit. But what I noticed was, one, my workouts suffered tremendously. I would have the worst workouts. You'd get no pump from your training sessions. You'd feel lethargic, and you just wouldn't have it in you to really smash your workouts like you would do if you'd had the carbohydrates in your system. Secondly, I was constantly tired. I had no mental focus. So whether it was at work or in my interactions with friends and family, I just had no energy. And the reason for that is actually a biological reason. Carbohydrates are the preferred source of fuel for the body, and the brain functions solely on carbohydrates. The kidneys need carbohydrates to work properly. Your muscles, and one of the most important muscles, your heart, requires carbohydrates to function optimally, and your central nervous system and your metabolism rely on carbohydrates to continue to regulate and work optimally. So by taking out or reducing carbohydrates, you're basically asking for trouble. If you want to retain muscle on a diet, to remain healthy, to have normal healthy hormone levels like testosterone, to have good workouts and be mentally sane, and to adhere to your diet, you must include carbohydrates. The type of carbohydrates that you consume is also very important. Obviously, if you're consuming sugary sodas and just processed junk, you're definitely gonna get an excess amount of carbohydrates in and an excess amount of calories, because these foods are extremely concentrated in sugars. What you actually want to be doing is consuming unprocessed fibrous carbohydrates where possible. So your brown rice, your fruits, your vegetables, your sweet potatoes, anything which has got fiber in it that helps with your digestive system, that doesn't cause a huge spike in your insulin levels, that is the source of carbohydrates that you should ideally be turning to. Now, I know that everyone is made differently, so perhaps for some people they need more carbohydrates, other people need less to function. In my opinion, to stay healthy, you should be targeting at least around about 50% of your calories to come from carbohydrates. Ultimately, it comes down to what works best for you. The best diet is the one that you can stick to and the one that you're consistent on. It is a complete myth, and probably one of the biggest, the mother of myths, that carbs make you fat, especially when you eat them at night, because they simply do not. It is calories and the quantities of food and carbohydrates that you're eating that makes you fat. As simple as that, guys. Anyway, I will leave it right there. If you would like to see a particular bodybuilding myth discussed or covered, leave a comment down below. Otherwise, remember to comment, like, share and subscribe. Keep living the life, be the best version of yourself that you can be, and I'll see you next time.